Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. Liverpool are taking on West Bromwich Albion at the Hawthorns this weekend in a game that could go a very long way to securing their place in the top four of the Premier League. Starting off with the injury news, Jordan Henderson and Adam Lallana will not be available for this game, sadly. Klopp said in his press conference today that Jordan Henderson might be available in some capacity for the game against Crystal Palace next weekend. Adam Lallana's probably going to take a little bit longer before he's back to full fitness, so we might see him in the Watford game at the start of May. But as I'll point out later on in the video, their absence might not necessarily be a bad thing for Liverpool's midfield going into the game against West Brom. In other injury news, Sadio Mane has obviously gone in for surgery on his ankle, so we won't have him at all for the rest of the season. But Roberto Firmino should no longer be fatigued, and I'm pretty sure Coutinho's overcome his illness, so those two should be available for Liverpool's starting 11 once again for this game. So the form book indicates that Liverpool should, in theory, have the edge going into this game because of their last 6 matches, West Brom have only won one of those games. Admittedly, that was against Arsenal at the Hawthorns, which is kind of a similar game to the one that they'll probably play against Liverpool this weekend. Hopefully we don't see a repeat of that 3-1 loss that put Arsenal out of the race for the top 4, because we really want to just be stepping things up a gear and securing our place in the top 4 of the Premier League at the moment. They also haven't scored in the other 5 of those matches. They only drew one of them, which was, again, against Manchester United at Old Trafford, so another good result against a big team. So I think we can expect West Brom to turn up in this game, but given the fact that they don't really have as much to play for as Liverpool, they've got mid-table, they're far away from relegation, but I don't think there's really any chance of them getting a Europa League spot, so they're not exactly going to be fired up. Pulis is a good manager. He is very good tactically and he knows how to set up a team against a big team, but hopefully I think Liverpool should be able to overcome that. With Liverpool's form, we're doing incredibly well at the moment. I know there's a few people who seem to think that we're in some sort of slump. Partially, I think that's just because of how we started against Stoke and the poor performance right at the end against Bournemouth where we conceded a late equaliser. But we've won 4 of our last games and drawn the other 2. And while we haven't kept a clean sheet in any of those games, so our defence does need work at the moment, we are performing pretty well. And we've hit form really at the right point in the season, coming into this back end of the season where we're going to start fighting for the top 4, and it's going to come to the point where every point matters. So I think going into this game, Liverpool have the better form in the previous few games, and hopefully they can carry that into this match and show that against West Brom. So going into the match, I am very confident that Liverpool can get the 3 points, and obviously with big games around us like Manchester United playing Chelsea, we can hope that a lot of our top 4 rivals will be dropping points this weekend, so it would be a great time for Liverpool to capitalise and get the 3 points against West Brom. So here are my 3 reasons why we will beat West Bromwich Albion. First of all, as I mentioned earlier, of how it might be a good thing that Liverpool don't have Jordan Henderson and Adam Lallana in their midfield for this game, I think the fact that we don't have Adam Lallana especially means that we'll have a little bit more muscle in our midfield, and against a team like West Brom, who are very well drilled, very organised and also quite a physical side, that will probably end up being a good thing, because while Adam Lallana is very good technically, he has been exposed a little bit against these teams that have a bit more physicality in their midfield, because like I said, he's good technically, he's good on the ball, he's a good passer, he's good in his attacking play. He isn't quite as strong as the other players that Liverpool have got, whereas Gini Wijnaldum and Emre Can obviously bring a lot of muscle. Lucas isn't quite as strong as them, and I think Jordan Henderson probably edges it in terms of strength, but I still think he's an adequate replacement, and I don't think he'll get exposed too much like Adam Lallana might do in a game against West Brom. Second of all, Philippe Coutinho is absolutely on fire for Liverpool at the moment. I've mentioned it in the last few videos. He's just hitting form at the exact right time that he needs to, and he's grabbing great games by the scruff of the neck. He's turning up when Liverpool needs someone to come up with a goal to get them back into a game, and he's just been playing really well, to be honest, and it's really good to see him come through and be that talismanic star man kind of player that Liverpool need him to be, because he is really our only world-class player at the moment. So I'm expecting him to carry on that form into this game. He obviously scored against West Brom in a very good performance earlier on in the season, so hopefully he can do that again. And if anyone's going to be the difference for Liverpool in this game, I think it will be Philippe Coutinho. And finally, as I said earlier, West Brom haven't really got that much to play for in this game, certainly compared to Liverpool, who are right there in the fight for the top 4. And while there has been a question of our mentality and whether we've got what it takes when the pressure's on, we have shown in our last few games, particularly against these so-called smaller teams, that we might actually have a bit of an improved mentality from earlier on in the season. In our last 3 games against these smaller teams, we've actually come from behind to take the lead. Obviously, against Bournemouth, we then conceded a late equaliser, but in all 3 of those games against Burnley, Bournemouth and Stoke, we've shown good character when going down to say that, you know, the game's not over, we've still got what it takes and we can still pull ourselves back into it. So even if Liverpool do go 1-0 down against West Brom, I wouldn't be too worried, because I know that the team at the moment seems to have the character and the motivation to pull themselves back in whenever they're in a difficult situation. And with the race for the top four becoming as intense as it is at the moment, that's the right kind of mentality that Liverpool needs. So hopefully they can keep that motivation going towards the end of the season and we can secure a Champions League spot. And that's all for today's video. If you want to see how I think Liverpool will actually line up for this game, as well as getting a little taste of how things might pan out, then you can check out the FIFA 17 predictor, which will be out tomorrow on the channel. Last week we predicted Liverpool versus Stoke and we got the result exactly right. It was 2-1, so it's in your best interest really to find out what's going to happen this weekend with Liverpool to watch the FIFA 17 predictor on this channel. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new around here, like the video if you enjoyed it, and follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter. Bye for now.